Hello world, hello YouTube land. Today we're doing out there. My first comic book review of the week and the day actually. First video review of the day anyway. What I'm starting to do now is I'm starting to do reviews of comics that nobody else will do reviews on. I mean, what's the point of doing a review on X-Men or Captain America or Marvel? Marvel? Yeah, any Marvel books actually. What's the point? You know? What's the point of doing the Avengers? Black Widow, Joker's daughter, what else is in DC? Batman. There's no point, is there really? Because there's so many people doing reviews on them, and most of these reviews are pretty dim-witted really. They'll just say, yeah, I loved it, it was really good, it was really good action there, and then the character is really good, it shows you how loyal he was to his teammates. It's great, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. So there's too many comic reviews like that out there. And I don't really want to go against these kids and point out why their comics are stupid and make no sense, and be the turd in the punch bowl really, and just spoil the fun for everybody really. If they want to live in their own little make-believe childish world where Captain America is some sort of hero who represents all that's good about freedom in 2014, then good luck to them. They're living in some sort of delusional world. I'm sure they'll wake up from it one day, but it's not my job to wake them up. If they really do want to wake up, they need to do a bit of reading, and I don't want to keep them going on about it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start reading and reviewing comics that nobody else bothers looking at. That doesn't mean I'm just going to do comics that have New World Order issues or anything that's related to 2014. I'm just going to look at things that nobody else is bothering with. And the way I look at it really is, if nobody else is looking at these things, if nobody else is reviewing these things, then there's probably something there really. Because I always tend to go against the grain. If you follow the crowd, you normally end up with the rest of the lemmings jumping off the cliff. I'll leave them to jump off the cliff, and I'll go my own way, walk my own path. So the review I'm going to do now is Haunted Horror. There we go. Look at that beautiful front cover. This is a collection of comics from the 1950s. It was actually released this week, so it's reproductions of old comics from, this thing's IDW. Yeah, IDW Publishing. $3.99, so it's not that expensive. There's about 5 stories in here. There we go. That's the artwork you get in there. It's the old style sort of artwork. I'll show you one of the really good panels actually, one of the ghoul. There we go. Creepy, isn't that cool? Return of the Ghoul. Yeah. So it's the old style horror, the beginning, middle and end story. It was all there in one story in about 8 to 10 pages. If it is a good story, you'll get straight into what's happening straight away, and at the end there'll be a nice little twist which makes you feeling ooh at the end, oh that shocked me, that surprised me, that was cool. You get that sort of feeling at the end. These are the comic books that I grew up with, and you normally have the first person narration going on at the beginning of the book as well, with different characters. There you go. You have the characters actually now breaking the fourth wall and talking to you directly as a reader. They'll say, welcome into my spooky fairground ride. I've got a great tale for you today. That sort of thing. I find it nostalgic. I'm very old. I'm an ancient man. I'm not really, lots of people read comics nowadays seem to be in their 20s, and what's nostalgic to them is stuff that happened in 2002, I guess. So, yeah, as usual with me, I'm going to go my own way. Now, that's my favourite story, The Absent-Minded Professor. I'll just read out my review from Geeked Out Nation of Haunted Horror number 9, which I fully recommend you check out. Much better than any Marvel book or anything that's going on in mainstream comics. Are you ready? Here we go. Haunted Horror number 9. Positives. Fast food horror stories. A glimpse into the recent banned past of comics. It's nostalgic for older comic book readers. Thrilling stories, and an absent-minded professor story is perfect, and it's good to scare the kids with, and it's got a great front cover by Norman Saunders. A lot of fun, and it's easy to read. Negatives. So a couple of weak stories this month, all one-shot stories, so a bit different to what a lot of readers have become accustomed to, and it's exposition heavy, which means they've got a lot of story to cram into like 8 or 10 pages, so there's a lot of text. Bottom line, more deliciously weird horror comics from the 1950s, reproduced in full colour and with original thrills and frights attached. Right, Haunted Horror collects a grisly grouping of banned comic stories from the 1950s, wipes off the cobwebs, removes the dead bones, and reproduces them all in their full colour gory glory for the comic book guys and ghouls of today. If that sounds like your kind of thing, read on, as I take you through a quick ghost train ride through what's in store for you, all of you horror-loving creeps and creatures this month. The first diabolic delicacy in offer this month is a ghostly tale about our strange cousins from the planet Mars. One day, sometime somewhere, little blobs of goo start raining from the sky. Is it raining or is it snowing? No, it's little alien ghost creatures from the planet Mars, and they're being dropped on the planet by giant flying saucers. Just another day in the weird and wacky world of 1950s horror comics then. But don't worry, as we have a friendly neighbourhood scientist on the case, and I'm sure he will come up with a solution to the problem. But why is he talking to the ghost of his dead brother? And what's he doing with all that blood? Read the book and you'll find out. The second salacious sliver on display this month is a story about an absent-minded professor. The girls love him and the boys want to be him. He's so dashing, so intelligent, so manly, so charming. What could possibly go wrong with a starry-eyed and impressionable young lass falls in love and eventually ends up marrying this perfect paradigm of professional propriety? Is that professorial propriety? God, that's a difficult one to say. Sure, he's a little absent-minded, but that just makes him even more charming, doesn't it? The third rotten redacted recital this month comes straight from the cold, dank grave. It's April Fool's Day and the ghoul is having a little bit of fun around town. He might be 150 years old, but his lack of clothes and even more disturbing lack of flesh is not going to stop him from having a bit of mischievous fun in the local play park and lovers' lanes. He might have the police on his trail, but there's a fat of artificial skin waiting for him, and a new life is tantalisingly around the corner. The fourth felonious fable this month follows the Planet of the Apes future where giant creatures dominate the planet Earth and the few remaining human astronauts struggle desperately for survival, ray guns firing and desperation growing. We go deep into the Welsh mountains for the next slice of druidical debauchery. A greedy mine owner, a cave of gold, a profit to be made, and a human sacrificing cult of ghoulish druids. What could possibly go wrong? The last lingering lament this month comes from the ever-sinister spectre of a fairground carousel. But be warned, this is no normal funfair ride. Where are the proud and majestic horses, and where have they been replaced by terrible-looking troglodyte gargoyles? Two brothers wonder why the children are not afraid of these disgusting-looking beasts, and decided to look a little bit closer. A little too close in the end, as is always the case in these cunningly crafted creations. Things are never as they appear to be. So that's the end of the sacrificial offerings this month. My own personal favourites are a cack-about-loud conclusion to the absent-minded professor story, and seeing a real villain get his comeuppance at the end of the story about an avaricious mine owner and the creatures he ends up passing his time with. The artwork throughout is of a style that is immediately recognisable as 1950s horror comic. What does that mean? It means that it's all very much personality driven. All faces look out at the reader as they tell their tale, rather than the mixture of small panels that then give way to large spurts of dramatic action as is common in comics today. The colours are bright yellows and reds, with the background details large taking the back seats to the personality driven stories. The panels are small and exposition heavy. They have a lot of story to tell in a very short amount of time, so they get to the point immediately. No messing around here, it's all bang 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 bang. And next story please. I love this kind of comic book writing, as this is what I grew up with. You get the beginning, middle and end in 8 pages, then it's on to the next story. There's no waiting around for the reveal here. It's fast food comics, and as I wolf it all down, I'm taken back to a time and place that no longer exists. Of course, this is all very nostalgic to me, but does that mean that it's a good comic worthy of recommendation to younger readers? Not sure. All I can say is that when I read these comics today, I get just as much enjoyment out of them as I did back when I was reading them at the age of 11 years old. The good stories still pack a punch at the end, and this collection has one story with a fantastic ending that even after all these years still came with a pleasant and enjoyable surprise to me. There were a couple of weaker stories here for sure, but an absent-minded professor, creepy Welsh druids, and ridiculously weird Martian blob ghost creatures made an impression, and have me eagerly looking forward to issue number 10 in 2 months' time. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. Not because it's a bad comic. 7 is good. 7.5 is between good and excellent. It's not quite excellent because there were some weak stories, but the story about the absent-minded professor, I really enjoyed that one. I got a lot out of this. So check it out for yourself. That's the end of my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Take care, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye, guys.